guys, it's Tony here with ARO-Online, and today I'm doing just a quick video recapping my thoughts on my failed, I guess, attempt at Isle Royale. It's hard to say failure when you still did. I think it was like 46 miles total, something like that. But that's exactly how it feels. I had a lot of trouble starting to edit my videos from the trip. The delay actually on a lot of the posting of the videos had to do with my editing software crashing. Well, not crashing, but it was failing to output a usable video. So just kind of thoughts on what's going on. One, I'm still somewhat dealing with the issues that I experienced on the island. Much less painful, much less noticeable. Some days it doesn't bother me at all. Some days I wake up feeling like crap. So I'm not sure if this is something that will heal or if I'm just going to end up having to deal with it kind of for the rest of my life. The doctor put me on a couple over-the-counter medicines to see if that would help. I would say it probably does on some level, but I also don't always remember to take it. I've never had to take medicine regularly, so I forget. A lot of times I'll be like in my car driving down the road and realize, I didn't take the medicine. So I can't rule out that just a simple over-the-counter medicine might not fix the problem. Or not fix the problem, but alleviate the symptoms. Thoughts on the trip. You know, it was hard to enjoy. When you're feeling so miserable, and you know, honestly, by day 3, all I was thinking about was, how do I get off this island? How can I make it possible? Because I mean, it was awful. I like to eat. I don't generally like to eat very much on trail. That's a problem that I have. When I exercise a whole lot, when I'm tired, when I'm all of that, I don't like to eat a lot of food, and you need to eat a lot when you're on the trail, right? So, hang on, just realized there's a pretty nasty glare from the computer. So what do I really think? I'm not in a position to give it a fair shake. Isle Royale as a whole. So let's just start there. My thoughts on the island. Beautiful views along the coastline. Some really nice views up on some of the, I guess, mountain peaks, whatever. They're only like 1,500 feet or whatever. So I have a hard time calling those mountains, but they call them mountains. So there's some decent views from up there, but very little of what was in between I found really cool. I mean, I shot some stuff that was neat, but it was kind of ho-hum. Very much in need of some trail maintenance. It did look like they were performing some maintenance in some areas. but just it was like very overgrown. Very, I mean, you're hiking in a path that's like this wide, and obviously I'm wider than that. So you're constantly being brushed with stuff, and it just gets old. I don't mind doing it for a little bit, but it gets old real quick. And so there's a part of me that says I didn't get to see some of the other sections, and they might have been worse, but they also might have been better as far as offering a little bit of a different take on the island, if that makes sense. So, so the actual trails themselves, there are some really spectacular parts of it. But if I was 100% honest, I enjoyed like Red River Gorge in Kentucky way more. But see, it's hard to really justify saying that when I wasn't sick in Red River Gorge and I was sick at Isle Royale. But that's my take. Will I go back? Maybe. I could see doing a trip there with some of my scouts or something like that, or even maybe a family trip that wasn't as hardcore as what I was trying to do. I mean, trying to push 90 miles or whatever in a week. I didn't allow myself any chance to have a break per se. I had one short day on the first half of the trip, and I had one short day on the second half of the trip planned. But I didn't really give myself any leeway to say, well, if I'm not feeling good or I need a day to recover, I can just take a day off, hang out, rest, sleep, whatever, and then get back on the trail. So that's what it is. Decision making that I made was in some cases great and in some cases marginal. So day one, when I decided to push on to my the destination I made it to, which was Muskie Basin, was a risky decision that probably shouldn't have been made on day one. There were some nasty thunderstorms, and I missed them by all of 3 minutes. Like, I mean, I had a little bit of it in the video, but I was pretty tired from the ferry ride over and then hiking the 12 miles I did that day, 11. I don't have the numbers in front of me, and it's been a month and a half since I did the hike. So, but me pushing on to that was probably a little bit riskier than I should have done on day one. Like I said, I had an option. I was at a campsite. I just didn't feel, when I walked through camp and saw there was at least one person in every site at Daisy Farm, I didn't feel like going up to somebody and being like, hey, do you have room in your hut for me? Or, so it was a selfish, not selfish, but it was a personality issue with me. I just didn't want to ask. So I pushed on. I made it to camp with just a few sprinkles on me, and then like filtered water and did a couple things, and then it just all hell broke loose. But it ended up being okay. Day 2 was fine. The problem I might have had was the food that I packed. Lunch day 2 is where I started feeling sick. But start of day 2, when I only ate half of my oatmeal because I don't like oatmeal. Normally I can force myself to eat it. But that was the start of, I ate it, and it didn't set well, and I was just kind of, I was like, oh, this is too sweet, I don't want to eat this. And so I only ate one package instead of two. There's not a ton of calories in oatmeal anyways, as far as a little packet. And that kind of probably set me on the bad path, I guess. So, eating lunch day 2, I'm eating some of the buffalo chicken packets from Starkist and on some wraps, and I'm kind of sitting in the sun up on top of, I just made it to the greenstone, and I felt gross eating that stuff, and I forced myself to eat it, got on trail, and never felt the same again. I mean, it just kept going down, 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 to the point where I thought, did I eat some bad food? Like, was that food bad? Was the water I filtered in the morning not right? Started getting more and more nauseous. That was the hottest day, and it was also the most exposed day. I hit the ridge lines on the top, or the bulbs kind of on the top. I hit those in the heat of the day, 2, 3 o'clock, and it killed me. Made me feel even worse and worse and worse. To the point, made camp, decided I wasn't going to eat dinner, was going to eat dinner for my dinner meal for breakfast the next morning, since I really didn't want to eat the oatmeal. And woke up the next day, ate my dinner for breakfast, like 2/3 of it, before I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And that was the last meal I ate on the trip. So I guess that was the morning of day 3, and I had about 400 calories in rice that morning. It was a Nor rice side. And the day before, with only having a couple of chicken packets and some tortillas and peanut butter crackers. That was probably my biggest meal on the trip, and was, maybe, I don't know, 800 calories, something like that. Anyways, the way I kind of estimated it, I didn't do 100% of the math. I probably only ate about maybe 3,000 calories max from the time I set foot on the island to the time I left the island. And that was with hiking the 46 miles, whatever it was. So I kind of put all that went into detail there a little bit on the food, to say I made poor decisions on the food I took with me. I would have taken the rice side, and I would have taken the chicken packets, I think, on any trip. I may not now, because I associate it with how I felt, and it'll take me a little bit to get past that. But that stuff is stuff I generally like. I gotta find something else for breakfast. I may just try to come up with power bars or something like that, if I can find one that I really like. But I gotta figure out the breakfast thing. Maybe it's beef jerky and, a power bar, like I said. So I gotta figure that out if I'm gonna do long trips again, because I put myself behind the 8 ball by not eating breakfast properly. Let's see, day 3 was my short day. Ended up at, it went from Hatchet Lake to South Lake Desor. Wasn't a bad day. I hiked it pretty slow. That was I just felt really bad that day. Slept a lot when I hit Desor, took a long nap. Getting down to get water there was awful. You're basically climbing down a cliff to get down to the lake. But it is what it is. Day 4, got back up on the Greenstone and hiked from South Lake Desor to Wendigo. That day was a testament of mind over matter, basically. I put it in, commented on it in my video, but I had a hard time even like holding anything steady. I mean, my hands were shaking. At one point, I heard someone talking to me. Well, I don't know if they were talking to me. I heard a voice talking, but I never found that person. So I feel like I was starting to hallucinate. It's possible somebody was off in the woods and was like yelling, but it sounded like they were talking and they were just 50 feet down the trail, just talking in a normal level. And I didn't see them behind me, in front of me. I never passed them. They never passed me. I don't know what was going on there. But made me nervous, and I really just kept going. It was just kind of force yourself to go. You can't stop, you can't stop, you can't stop. And funny thing is, that day, after a couple miles from South Lake Desor, turns into the maple trees. That side of the island's mostly maple. And that was the best hiking of the trip because it was open. You could see out into the woods. You didn't have leaves and stuff brushing up against you. And that probably helped. In all honesty, helped me get to the end. If it had been so overgrown and stuffy and everything else, still, I might have struggled more than I did. Made it to Wendigo. Saw the only moose I saw on the trip. I mean, I saw like the butt of one from 100 yards away off in the woods. Nothing that I could really say, oh, I saw a moose. But saw the one moose, and in the past, when I've seen things like black bears or cool animals like that, I have stopped and photographed and videoed, and what kind of angles can I get, and how long can I watch it, and I might wait for the perfect image. You could tell from those pictures or a little bit of video, I spent 30 seconds looking at the moose, and I turned and just kept walking, and I never would have done that if I had felt good. But I was trying to catch, honestly at the time I was trying to catch the ferry to see if I could get a ride back to, or at least closer to, Rock Harbor. Missed the ferry by about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I knew when I started seeing the people coming towards me that they had just unloaded, because I ran into 30 people walking towards me, leaving Wendigo. But I wasn't sure how long of a wait it was before the ferry left. It was gone when I got there. Talked to Valerie in Wendigo, who was with the Park Service. She was great. She helped arrange a flight off the island for me. She checked in on me a little bit later. And basically I ate a little bit at the store. I took a shower, and I went and laid down by the dock and waited for the seaplane to arrive. Seaplane was a little bit of an adventure once I landed, because I didn't know that it didn't land and let you off at the same place the ferry lets you off. So I landed right next to the ferry, the National Park Service headquarters there or whatever. I landed, and then we taxied, and I was thinking, okay, no big deal. It's whatever. It's a half mile. I can walk that. No big deal. And then they went to the other side of the lake, or the river, not the lake, which meant it was now like probably 3, maybe 5 miles total to get from the seaplane dock to back up to the bridge, and then across the bridge, and then back down. I mean, by car it's I don't know, between 5 and 10 minute drive, but walking, I'm sure it was probably 3 miles. Let's say that. And I thought, I'm not going to make it there before they close the gate and lock it up, and my car is on the other side of the gate, and so I'm going to end up having to stay here with no access to my vehicle. We tried calling taxis. There's apparently 2 taxi companies in town, no Uber or anything like that, and neither taxi was available. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to have to walk. However, the seaplane captain, and I wish I remembered his name, I don't, but he was like, I'll take you over there. So he put me in his personal vehicle and drove me over. Super nice. And he dropped me off. I made it in time, got my car, and decided I was going to just drive straight home. I did force myself to eat some Subway, and like 4 hours later I forced myself to eat Jimmy John's. I was just trying to get carbs, you know, stuff that was low, not greasy or anything like that. It took me like over an hour to eat the Subway, and then it took me probably not quite as long to eat the Jimmy John's later, but I still never felt right all the way home. Spent the next few days basically curled up in a ball on my couch in pain. Decided to go to the doctor, and I've already told you about that, so won't go back into that. Kind of thinking back on the actual trip itself, in my opinion, the hiking was not that hard. Of what I did not get on the Manong, which I understand is harder. You know, these climbs that I read in the book that were killers, really, I feel like if I had not been sick, it wouldn't have been a big deal. They felt like they were climbs in southern Indiana. It was just, instead of starting at, 60 feet and going to 700 feet, you started at 500 feet and you went to 1,200 feet. It was like the same kind of straight up, kind of straight down hikes. I didn't think it was that challenging. The scrambles and stuff, I enjoy that. So for me, that was cool. I never got turned around on the ridge tops where it's just rock and there's cairns and stuff. I always felt it was super easy to see where the trail where people had walked and just follow that. That was never a problem. Let's see, what else? Campsites were ho-hum, a little bit disappointing. Not a lot of views from very many of the camps. I understand there are some that are spectacular, but they were taken before I got there or whatever. I don't know. I guess that's about it. I know I've rambled on, for 25 minutes. I just wanted to say, I just wanted to follow it up because the video just kind of ends, right? I mean, in my head, I was even thinking, I recorded more than that, didn't I? But apparently I didn't. I didn't record the plane coming in. I could have swore I did, but I took a photo, but I could have swore I videoed that. I was going to film when I was in the seaplane leaving, but I was in the front seat, and when the I had my camera with me, but when the steering controls come back to me, first of all, I was afraid to death of touching them, but I don't know if they even would have done anything. But second, like, because they were so close to me, I couldn't really hold the camera up very easily and film. So I ended up I didn't take any photos. I couldn't get my phone on my pocket to take photos or anything like that. So, and I didn't even think about filming when I was driving home at all. So it just kind of done. And I wanted to give you a little bit of a recap about what was going on, what was in my head, and all that. Like I said, I'm not certain if I'll go back. If I do, it might be a couple years. I don't hate the island. It's just kind of a bad. It just kind of has a bad connotation with me. I do think my family would enjoy it, and maybe going up there and doing like some shorter hikes combined with maybe some canoeing or kayaking or sections or something like that, or being ferried to other sections of the island. That might be more how I would enjoy that place. But maybe I'll get back up there and do a through hike of it again. We'll see. For now, my focus is on getting back into training for my Scout high adventure trip next year. We'll probably, right now we're kind of going back and forth between doing Dolly Sods and the Virginia Triple Crown. Both have benefits and advantages, because we're also combining that with some whitewater rafting. So that's kind of where I'm focused right now. So most of my hiking will probably be with some Scouts and stuff, so I don't know how much filming I'll be able to do, and a lot of them will be kind of local hikes that really aren't worth filming anyways, for the most part, or I've already filmed them. But we'll see. I'm going to try and get back out after Thanksgiving and get a bigger hike in, maybe with my family. Just something, kind of a break there. And I really do enjoy hiking in fall and not bitterly cold winter. It's just less people on the trail and no bugs and stuff like that. So we'll see. I don't have anything on the books as far as like next video that I'm going to make or anything like that, but I will be back out and just trying to figure out how to do it without being sick while doing it. Man, I rambled for too long. The camera shut off. What I was saying was, just thank you for watching, and I appreciate it, and appreciate you watching this Isle Royale series. I know it was kind of a letdown, but at least for me, and I definitely don't think it was my best video work ever, but I do appreciate you sticking through, watching it. So again, if you can, like, share, subscribe, let people know I'm out there, and hopefully I'll see you guys on the trail sometime soon. Bye.